So looking at this study, phase 3 study, we're, continuing some subsequent studies, one being presented at this conference referencing your work. I've had a lot of conversations about the use of artificial intelligence and machine learning to analyze data from past clinical trials. And so I'm wondering if you have had or conversations about or thought about how this clinical trial might be used in that regard in the future, or if that, ha- is going into any of your current or future work.
I can't say that it currently is, but I think it's an area that we should think about and pursue. The study that's being presented here at this meeting is looking at the younger patients on the E1910 trial and how they did. So that's what we call, a secondary analysis from the study, and we have many of those. There's many questions that we can ask about E1910 and try to look at some other aspects of the study and see what
Mm-hmm.
other information we can glean. So I think artificial intelligence could definitely play a role as we continue those efforts. And I think um, when we do what are called meta-analyses, where we combine, try to look at the results from multiple studies to see if looking at a larger number of patients, can we detect any subtleties or nuances that we don't see in one individual study, and artificial intelligence could certainly play a role there.
One thing that I think about just in combining these kind of last two questions is this conversation about cancer rates increasing. We're moving more towards more personalized medicine, and there seems to be a lot of siloed information among specialists. The oncology people are only focused on oncology, but we do have these, increasing rates coming up, and we do know that diseases are multifactorial, right? So how can we, just in an ideal world, have these more multifaceted conversations when it comes to kind of understanding how disease develops? Because the body is one ecosystem, yet we look at it in these siloed ways, and the answer to why something is happening, like an uptick in a type of cancer, things like that, is my thought is that the answer, understanding it, doesn't only exist in from an oncology perspective. And so we do have all of these trials that are going on in different silos, and I'm wondering, it feels like we're missing a lot of opportunities for insights across specialties. Uh, and so I'm wondering, I know doctors are very busy. There's so much information that it feels like we're kind of missing these kind of like intersections and insights. Do you have any thoughts on how we could possibly have those kind of cross conversations?
It's a good question. As we've gotten more specialized, and there's more data out there to absorb, to for someone to really stay up to date and on a particular disease becomes increasingly difficult, and so that does lead to more um, development of silos. So I think if we can counteract that and make sure that we have cross-disciplinary discussions, I think that would be helpful. Um, uh, I think the cancer biologists are definitely people that can help us in this regard, because they're the ones that are helping to look at the how cancer develops, and there's certain similarities from one malignancy to another. Um, I mean, I know, some of the agents that we use in acute leukemia, they're we're looking more at them targeting specific gene abnormalities, and some of these gene abnormalities are also in solid tumors. There's one called isocitrate dehydrogenase, we abbreviated IDH, and that's also found in brain tumors.
Mhm.
So some of these treatments that we're using for AML are also being used in treatment of brain tumors. And there's some what are called stromal tumors in the gastrointestinal tract that are also sensitive to some of the tyrosine kinase inhibitors that are called that we use for chronic myeloid leukemia.
Mm.
So I think also keeping those things in mind, and then again, that's where the cancer biologists can help us too. But I think just keeping that perspective of the need for
Mm.
cross-disciplinary approaches is going to be helpful.